one question has to be asked. Have we entered a new dark era of unchecked hegemonic interference?
The United States is a war machine.
Gangsternomics.
Yes, it would be tragic.
A gross violation of international law.
After the U.S. launched military strikes against Venezuela and forcibly detained the Venezuelan president Nicolas Maduro and his wife, the international community has been reacting strongly. But it also finds itself in a perilous crossroads, with Washington now declaring its intent to so-called run Venezuela and take advantage of its rich oil reserves, not to mention threatening Greenland, Cuba, and Colombia.
Well, this is another very dire violation of international law. The United States is a war machine. Trump is clearly trying to install regimes in the Western Hemisphere that are puppets of the United States. But most importantly, most tragically, most dangerously, this U.S. government has ripped up the UN Charter.
Remain deeply concerned that rules of international law have not been respected with regard to the 3 January military action. The Charter enshrines the prohibition of the threat or use of force against the territorial integrity or political independence of any state.
There are many in the world who share their views. From protests in over 100 American cities to the halls of power in Brasilia and Havana, the condemnation is near unanimous. But the most important question is, what can the international community do? And what's going to happen next?
I think the United Nations Charter is very precious, and I would encourage every country around the world to do what we can to strengthen it and make it fairer. I'm proud that the United Nations is located in our country. I'm proud of the contributions we've made to developing the United Nations. And I take the gist of your question, would it be tragic if the United Nations were to fall apart? And yes, it would be tragic. Credibility is a strange word. I think that if the Congress doesn't do anything, then that will continue a pattern that we have seen in our country over the last several years, where the political party of the Congress tends to go along pretty easily with what it is that the president wants to do. And so it will send a message within our country that foreign policy will be more under the control of the president than it might have been before.
As a professor of international law, I am shocked and astonished at what happened in Venezuela, because capturing the president of a foreign country by the United States in terms of international law, it's a gross violation of international law. It's an invasion of a foreign country by the United States.
Gangsternomics. It's not Trumponomics. It's really criminal actions. Let's remember that Trump, one of his measures was to rename the Gulf of Mexico. So there is a clear strategy of, as Trump himself has affirmed, of resuming the Monroe Doctrine. That means all of the Americas must be brought under the umbrella of U.S. security concerns or security strategies.
The ongoing U.S. actions against Venezuela and its president are believed by many as another clear sign of the trampling of international order. When Washington carries out the extraterritorial detention of a foreign leader to run a sovereign state's resources, the rule of law is already downgraded to a mere fig leaf for political transactions. But as history proves, hegemonic interference never brings peace or prosperity for the people, only clear scars of a dark era. Now it takes guts to ask the question, what can we do if we still want the world to be a better place?